Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another mock fictional election. This time it is Donald Trump versus Elizabeth Warren in an older battle we've got going on here. So Elizabeth Warren, chances she's the Democratic nominee in 2024, virtually zero. I think she's kind of like the older version of AOC. And she would be taking on Donald Trump, who is one of the favorites in the Republican Party. I'm just going to go state by state going through my predictions, starting with Nevada. I think Trump takes Nevada very slightly, maybe by 2 or 3 points. I think Arizona would be a little bit easier for him. Maybe by maybe by like 7 to 9 points over Warren. I don't think Warren's politics would appeal there. Texas is pretty pure Trump. Texas in 2024, I always say it just hasn't shifted enough. I know Democrats are saying it's shifting. You've got people moving from California to Texas, things like that, but 2024 is too soon. I said 2020 was way too soon. It didn't end up being an issue at all for Trump. He won Texas very easily in 2020, and especially if we're doing Elizabeth Warren, it would be shocking for Elizabeth Warren to win the state of Texas over Donald Trump. Minnesota is definitely a state I could see Elizabeth Warren eking out personally, just based on how the overall vibe is there. Iowa, to me, at this point, is another one of those fake swing states where it's kind of like Texas, where the polling's always close, but it seems like the Republican normally always wins. Another state that I think is a fake swing state going into 2024 based on the past 2 elections is the state of Ohio. Trump carrying Ohio by 8 points in 2020, by 10 points over Hillary in 2016. Georgia, Trump would flip Georgia against Elizabeth Warren, in my opinion. It'd be probably a close race, maybe 2 or 3 point win for Trump. Florida would be pretty, Florida's always going to be close, but definitely another state I see Trump winning based off of the 2020 election, 2016, how liberal, how left Elizabeth Warren would be. Of course, these are reasons why they're not going to elect, or they're not going to have Elizabeth Warren as the nominee. But just way, way too liberal for America. For European politics, maybe, but for America, she's way too liberal. North Carolina, always an extremely close state. I think it goes Trump. I think Virginia is another state that Elizabeth Warren would carry. Very slightly, very close race. And then we've got the last 3 Rust Belt states. I think they all go to Trump slightly, with maybe Wisconsin being a little bit more of a blowout in that form. And then normally what tends to happen with these little states like Maine and New Hampshire, normally I just split them evenly to try and keep it fair because they are tough to track. So I will give Elizabeth Warren that state very slightly. Actually, I think there is a district in Maine that is really Democrat. So if I go that, we'll just do something like that. And I think this is probably pretty realistic on how this would turn out, with Minnesota possibly going to Trump, and also Virginia would be the one I probably would say is basically a 50-50 toss-up. Georgia, I think, would be even more Trump, to be honest with you guys, just based off of this matchup, Elizabeth Warren versus Trump, the policies and things like that, the way it sets up. So 315 to 223 would be my final electoral vote score in this fictional matchup that, again, guys, will not happen. I maintain the thought process currently. It is going to be either Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama. Of course, we don't even know if Michelle Obama wants to run, but normally with these politicians, they're very coy about it. We haven't heard much. So I think Gavin Newsom or or Michelle Obama will be the Democratic nominee. And then you're looking at Trump or DeSantis. Of course, they just raided Trump in Florida and found a few documents. I think to be honest with you, for the Republicans, if they want to win the White House in 2024, DeSantis is the better choice. If DeSantis is running in 2024, I don't see him losing to any Democratic candidate based off of the current success the Biden administration and Democrats are having. And the main problem for the Democrats right now is their political policies are directly impacting American citizens, pockets with these gases. You can't pump your own gas. Gas goes up. The recession, of course, they're trying to change or they tried to change the definition of recession because it just becomes another political talking point for conservatives to use against them. They know how bad that is. And then the Biden horrible approval rating, ridiculously low, even lower than Trump. They need to switch it. We've seen gas going down a little bit. We've seen the midterm polls get really close. But I just saw a general election poll where Republicans were beating Democrats among independent voters by 8 points. And if you have someone like DeSantis, who's a lot less polarizing than Trump, it would be like if DeSantis is winning independent vote by 8 points, you're winning 100%. Especially when you can give DeSantis Florida, you can basically give him Ohio. The map completely changes for the Republicans. So this is my overall prediction here. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.